everyone, so in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys my experience so far in my first trimester in Ontario. So I'm going to be talking about all the medical things I've done so far and what it's been like for me to, as I've been pregnant so far. Now I'm in my second trimester, I'm almost in my second trimester and heading into my third trimester, but I thought I would just let you guys know what it's been like so far. I plan on doing this for each trimester and my labor and delivery and all that stuff too. But for now, since I've only experienced the full first trimester, I thought I would start with this first. So if you live on Ontario or you're just curious if what it's like in Ontario, then definitely keep watching. I know for me, I definitely Googled this when I was pregnant in my first trimester so that I could kind of see what it was like. And I didn't see anything, so I'm hoping this is helpful for somebody who is pregnant in Ontario or, like I said, just curious. So yeah, let's get started. So I found out that I was pregnant at about 4 weeks. They go by your missed period. I believe this is like something they do worldwide, but I could be wrong. And when I had found out it was Labor Day, I had went to the store. I was 2 days late, period-wise. And I picked up a pregnancy test. I think I picked up the clear blue digital. And right away it told me that I was pregnant. It said it was about 1 to 2 weeks. So because I took the pregnancy test on Labor Day, my doctor's office was closed. So I called the following day, and my family doctor is open from 7 a.m. till 12 p.m. Monday to Thursday, and then Fridays I think she's open till 1 p.m. So I knew that was kind of like the time period I needed to call in. So I called her first thing in the morning, I think before I started work, and I just kind of explained to the receptionist when it happened. I had been 2 days late. I still hadn't gotten my period to this day since I was on the phone with her, and I had taken a pregnancy test and it had said that I was pregnant. So they wanted me to obviously come in right away. This is Tuesday, September 5th. And so they had, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong with the dates, I will list them down below, but I'll try to put how many weeks I was pregnant and when it happened and kind of keep it in order. So she had me booked in for Thursday morning. That's when I like my appointments. I like them first thing in the morning so that I don't have to not cancel my shift, but I can come into work later and still get my full 8 hours. So that's what they did. They sat me down and I had blood work done, and I don't think I did a urine sample. I think it was just blood work. I'm 99.9% sure it was just blood work. And she just pretty much told me, the doctor told me what I could not have, and that was no smoking, no drugs, Tylenol only, and no alcohol. And I had asked her about coffee, and she just said limit it to 1 cup a day. Now, I'm not a big coffee drinker to begin with, but I was just curious, so that was something I had asked. And she had booked me my appointment, booked me another appointment exactly 2 weeks from that date. And something else she had me do was start prenatal vitamins. It wasn't something that I'd been taking before, and I know that prenatal vitamins is something that I believe that you can take before you're even pregnant if you're trying to get pregnant. Don't quote me, I'm not a doctor, but I believe that is okay to do. So she booked me exactly 2 weeks from that appointment, and I will put in dates or whatever afterwards because I can't think of them off the top of my head. And when I came back from 2 weeks, she read me my blood test results and confirmed that I was pregnant. She told me how far along I was, which was about 6 weeks, because they ask you what your last period was. So if you're somebody who's not on birth control or just doesn't remember, I would definitely try and keep track of your periods if you're trying to get pregnant. For me, I use the app Flow, and if you're wondering about Flow, I will link my video down below where I talk about the pregnancy apps I've been using, as I do mention it in there. And I was able to easily tell her when my last period was and how long it was and things like that. So with that, she calculated that I was about 6 weeks pregnant at this time, and she had booked another appointment in the following 2 weeks as she wanted to have me fast the next time and do another blood test to make sure that my sugar had gone down, because she did say that my blood test results had shown that my blood sugar was a little high. So we did that, and all was well. The next appointment, my results were good. I didn't like we did the blood test results that day, but afterwards, like, all was well kind of thing, like my blood sugar levels were okay. And that's pretty much all we did during my last, so that was my third appointment with her, and at this point I was 8 weeks. Something she did do then, she had booked my, not booked me, but gave me the paperwork I needed for my first ultrasound, and they had told me who my OB was. They did ask me if I wanted a female or a male. I wanted a female, and so they were going to, sorry, I shouldn't say that. I believe it was my second appointment I knew who my OB was, because that appointment I had a call. My first OB appointment was 2 weeks after that date, so we had 3 visits with my doctor, and my third visit with my family doctor, in another 2 weeks after that, I would be seeing my OB for the first time. So I already knew who she was, and I had her information. I just had to confirm 2 weeks ahead of time that I was still good, appointment was still good, and all that stuff. So that's what I did. And then before that 2-week appointment, like before my OB appointment, I guess I should say, I had my first ultrasound. And at this point, I was about 9.5 weeks. It was the Wednesday after Thanksgiving. So like I said, there'll be dates and things like that. I had my first ultrasound, and that, I don't know how it works everywhere else. It could be even different depending on what county you live in. But for me, we have like, I think 15 or something different ultrasound locations in our area, and they wanted me to pick one, call them, and just see if they could get an appointment around that time. Now, I wanted something that was close to my husband's work, so that's what I chose, and they just told me pretty much that I needed to be there about 15 minutes early before my appointment, and I had to drink 40 ounces of water or juice, could not be milk, and they, oh my gosh, what was I gonna say? One moment. Oh, and they had said that they wanted me to finish 1 hour before my appointment. So by 8:30 in the morning, I had to make sure I drank 40 ounces of water or juice. I did juice with like a little bit of water in it, because there was no way I was gonna be able to drink 40 ounces of water in like an hour. And I literally finished my last like drop pulling into the driveway or the parking lot, and they didn't say anything. Like, I was like, how would they know when I finished my last amount of liquid? And it sucked. Let me tell you, 40 ounces of like liquid, if you can imagine that. I really had to go to the bathroom, but it is what it is. And so they did reassure me that in the ultrasound, like in the room, that, you know, they may not be able to see baby right away. That doesn't mean she or he is not there. They might have to do a different kind of test, things like that, which is good that they kind of like tell you this, because, you know, you go in there and you're nervous because that's like the first time you're going to see baby. And something else that they did not allow was anybody else in the room. It had to be you until everything was good, and then they would ask you who you brought. I always brought my husband, and they would call him into the room. They'd just be like, what's his name? I'd tell them, and they'd bring him into the room, and then they would discuss it. And they were able to find baby right away, no problem, and printed me off paperwork. And so far, none of this, the only thing I had to pay for was my prenatal vitamins, which I think were like $10 or something like that. I don't know if I've heard that they used to, back in the day, you could get them like prescribed to you, but it was just like over the counter. I just went to the pharmacy attached to my doctor's office, and I just picked one off the shelf. So that's what I did, and they come in like 90, I think it's like 90 capsules, and I take one a day. So it lasts me about 3 months. So yeah, they brought Richard into which is my husband's name, brought him into the room, all was well. They printed off some pictures, and away we went. And then it wasn't until, I think it was October 19th, that I had my first OB appointment. And they weighed me, they checked my blood pressure, and they just asked me some basic questions. You know, they wanted to know how old my husband was, his name, his work information, not work information, but just where he works, what he does for a living, and same with me. I think just so they knew if this was something that I could do or something that I should be mindful of, and maybe like, depending on where you work, I'm sure they were going to be like, okay, I don't want you to do this, but it's okay if you do this, or something like that. I don't remember how much questions they asked, and I remember them asking questions about my husband, but I don't know if they asked too much about me, just because I feel like my health card would bring that information up. They did want to know when the last time I had surgery was, or how many surgeries I've had. I think they wanted to know all my surgeries, like in the past. And I just kind of guessed, like I was like, well, I've had this, this, and this, but I can't tell you the exact date, and this was the reason, things like that. And it didn't seem to be a big deal. And they also wanted to know what my blood type was, but I couldn't remember. So it's either O positive or O negative. So they just had my family doctor fax that information over. And that was it for my first appointment. And that was it in general. That was all the doctor's appointments and everything that I had during my first trimester. So that was 3 doctor's visits to my family doctor, and a doctor appointment with my OB, and then 1 ultrasound appointment. So that was everything that I did in those 8-week spans. So that's a lot when you think about it. That's 5 appointments in an 8-week period. And it was definitely hard to keep it away from work. I mean, you're having this many doctor's appointments. And I work with a lot of women, so the younger ones, I kind of like put 2 and 2 together, so it wasn't really a big surprise when I told everybody that I was expecting. So that can be hard to do when you're, when you're trying to keep it a secret for the first trimester. Not everybody does that, but that was something I wanted to do. I wanted to wait till I was 12 weeks before I told anybody besides my immediate family. I did tell friends, but coworkers, because I just felt like the more people I told them, the more people I'd have to tell if I did miscarry. So that was something that I did, and yeah, that is everything for this video. I hope it was helpful and knowledgeable in some way. And if you're in your first trimester, I hope this kind of like gave you just some kind of information to give you an idea. Like I said, everybody's different. I talked to my 2 coworkers and they said their OBs made them do a urine sample every time they went to an appointment, and that was just something that my OB has never made me do. I do want to bring that up next time because I am curious. But yeah, that is everything for this video. Oh, another thing I have to say, which is very random, but it's something to keep in mind. When I would go to my OB appointments, it was not free parking. I had to pay, I think, $2.75. I like get a ticket, and when I come out, I give the person in the toll booth my ticket, and then he tells me how much I have to pay depending on how long I was there. So definitely bring change when you go to your appointments, because you never know what to do, like, if it's going to cost anything. Something else too that I forgot to mention was my OB has listened to my baby's heartbeat. She does this at every appointment, and Richard has not come, so my husband has not come to any of my OB appointments, just because that's more time he has to take off work. He already does it through the ultrasound, and so maybe near the end he'll come, because I would like him to meet the person who possibly could be delivering our baby. Doesn't mean she will be if that's not her shift. If I'm in labor longer, then like if it, you know what I mean, like it is there's multiple reasons why she might not deliver my baby, but I just think, hey, if this is a good possibility, maybe you guys might want to meet her. But anyway, she would check baby's heartbeat. So if you are a first-time parent, or maybe your husband or spouse or partners, maybe this is the first time dad experience, or just in general, I think you should definitely bring him to your first OB appointment. I didn't, and I got to hear baby's heartbeat and he didn't, and it was something that I wish he would have been able to experience with me. Another thing too that they gave me at my first OB appointment was just a package of information about breastfeeding, what I should eat, maybe some signs to look for, or signs to keep them, like if you see these or have these symptoms, definitely give my doctor's office a call, because it could be that, something has happened to baby or things like that. And yeah, that is everything for this video. I know I've now covered everything. I hope, like I said, it was helpful, and I will see you guys on Wednesday for another cleaning or / organization video. Bye guys!